Is Max Holloway versus Justin Gaethje the fight to make? Following Islam Makhachev's lightweight title defense against Alex Volkanovski at UFC 294, Justin Gaethje and Charles Oliveira are hoping to challenge the champ next. Oliveira appears to be the front-runner since he was originally scheduled to fight Makhachev at UFC 294 and only missed his chance after suffering an injury. Gaethje deserves a title shot as well, but he's willing to sit around and wait for it if the UFC awards Oliveira the title shot first. Quote, "If they want to put Oliveira in there, then I fight the winner in September or next October. I have no issues waiting. Again, as I get older, I get to understand from now until the time I'm going to fight him, I'm going to be building strength. I'm going to be working on my cardio. I'm going to be refining my skills. So I'll take as much time as they give me and I'll be that much more ready." Gaethje is planning to wait for nearly a year, something BMFs aren't really known for. So instead of waiting, Max Holloway thinks Justin Gaethje should fight him. Here's what Blessed tweeted, and I quote, "If you change your mind, brother, how about one for the fans? #BMF. Dustin Poirier loves that fight. While Gaethje isn't guaranteed a title shot, Oliveira is confident that he is the next in line.
Whoever the UFC says you're going to fight, well, they're going to fight. Everybody knows I'm next. First in the rankings, coming off of a great win and ready to fight like I was before. I was ready for that fight until it happened, and I'm next in line.
If anything, Oliveira understands the challenge ahead of him. The Brazilian was hardly surprised by Makhachev's knockout victory against Alex Volkanovski because he understands that the Dagestani is a very underrated striker. Dubronx has nothing but great things to say about his one-time opponent.
And I've said this before, this only goes to show with the things that I've said before, that Islam, the evolution of Islam's game standing up. I mean, he did the right thing. What a read that he had of that fight to start kicking low and just ended up kicking high. So, I mean, kudos to him, all props to him. And also all the props as well to Volkanovski for actually taking that fight on a short notice. I mean, all respect to both of them. They're great fighters. I obviously, Islam is a great champion, and all respect to both fighters. It shows the evolution as an MMA fighter.
Justin Gaethje or Charles Oliveira? Who do you guys think deserves to fight for the belt? Moving on, the UFC is having to make a lot of last-minute changes. Most recently, the blockbuster heavyweight title fight between Jon Jones and Stipe Miocic was postponed after Jones pulled out due to injury. An interim heavyweight title fight between Tom Aspinall and Sergey Pavlovich will now co-headline the card. But wait, why did Stipe Miocic not feature in the interim title bout? Before we find out why, please subscribe to Takedown MMA and turn on those notifications. Thank you. According to reports, the UFC will rebook Jones versus Miocic on a big card next year, but that's not the reason why Miocic wasn't offered the interim title fight. Here's the reason.
Stipe is not fighting for an interim title. You know what I mean? I wouldn't. So Jones said, "I want to fight Stipe." I said, "You're fighting Stipe. You have the greatest heavyweight of all time versus the greatest mixed martial artist of all time. This is a legacy fight for both of those guys." I mean, to even call Stipe and ask Stipe to fight for an interim title is, complete disrespect. This is a fight for two legends, legacy, two of the greatest to ever do it. Fans want to see it, I want to see it, and they both want to do it.
Now, there's another twist in the story. Apparently, Pavlovich and Aspinall were already told to stay ready for a vacant title fight after UFC 295 because the UFC assumed that either Jones or Miocic would have retired on the night. In fact, the UFC feared that both fighters would have announced their retirements at UFC 295, according to Aspinall.
I guess I can speak about it now, really.
Please.
I guess.
Oh,
I was
okay.
sworn to secrecy a little bit.
No.
So I think the original plan was kind of, obviously, them two guys are going to fight and Sergey's going to be the backup. And then I think they were kind of under the impression that both guys are going to retire afterwards. And they were going to kind of see how that played out a little bit.
Oh.
And if that didn't happen, if they were both going to retire, then I was going to fight Pavlovich for the vacant title anyway, like early next year anyway. So yeah, it was just a big waiting game for me.
Aspinall is stepping into what can be considered the most significant fight of his MMA career with just 2.5 weeks of preparation. However, he remains unfazed by the challenge. The Brit draws inspiration from the likes of Michael Bisping, who realized his lifelong dream of becoming a UFC champion by accepting a fight on short notice and defeating Luke Rockhold.
We saw it last weekend, but what about my guy, Michael Bisping? Come on.
The legend, yes.
2.5 weeks notice.
That's right.
2.5 weeks notice to the day Mike Bisping went in there and took it from Luke Rockhold on 2.5 weeks notice. Exactly the same day as I got the fight. I mean, that's something to talk about, isn't it? 2 UK guys. Mike's my really, really close friend as well. He's my mentor. He told me to believe in myself. And he told me that it's not about 2.5 weeks. It's about the last 10, 15 years of your life that you've been putting in. You know, the time scale is irrelevant. I've been putting the hard miles in this shit for years before anyone believed in me.
Who do you think will win the interim heavyweight title fight between Tom Aspinall and Sergey Pavlovich? Before determining who holds the title of the baddest man on the planet, Tyson Fury and Francis Ngannou got together for a pre-fight news conference and face-off on Thursday. WBC heavyweight champion Fury and former UFC champion Ngannou are set to square off in a 10-round boxing match, which will be the main attraction of a pay-per-view event scheduled for Saturday at the Riyadh Arena in Saudi Arabia. The press conference was animated with Tyson and Ngannou and their teams, including John Fury and Mike Tyson, hyping their fighters up.
Francis, let us know who this man is. Francis.
John Fury even challenged Mike Tyson to a fight, completely ignoring the fact that the press conference was supposed to be about his son and his scary rival.
Let me tell you, my brother, the world is going to see what's going to happen to your man. Your man will get his head boxed off and stopped at will, my pal. Don't you worry about that. And if I'm wrong, me and you will fight straight after.
Yeah, man! Yeah, man, the great man! Whatever the outcome, me and you will fight.
All day, baby.
Get on there, my brother.
Following an animated press conference, Fury and Ngannou participated in a face-off, with both men exchanging words. John Fury again tried to steal the spotlight, but the old chap wasn't allowed to do so. Now, according to a report by Yahoo Sports' Kevin Ioli, Mike Tyson didn't train Francis Ngannou, contrary to popular belief. Ngannou was trained by Dewey Cooper, but Tyson was brought in because the Saudis, who allegedly paid Tyson a hefty amount, thought that his presence would bring in more eyeballs. Here's what Kevin Ioli tweeted, and I quote, "The Saudis have paid Mike Tyson to act as Francis Ngannou's trainer very, very, very handsomely, I'm told. They're flying in celeb boxers, including Manny Pacquiao, Roberto Duran, Eric Morales, Big George Foreman, Marco Antonio Barrera, Joe Calzaghe, Tommy Hearns, and Frank Bruno. Floyd Mayweather may go too. Tyson hasn't trained Francis, but they figured his presence would bring attention to the event. Dewey Cooper trained him." Crazy, if true. However, Saudi Arabia has significantly immersed itself in the realms of combat sports and entertainment in recent years. Notably, the country has inked annual agreements with World Wrestling Entertainment and, more recently, the Professional Fighters League. The UFC is planning to hold events in the kingdom as well. Who do you think will win the upcoming boxing match between Tyson Fury and Francis Ngannou? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. To stay up to date with the latest happenings in the world of mixed martial arts and boxing, please subscribe to Takedown MMA and turn on those notifications. Thank you for your continued love and support, and we'll see you in the next one.